Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I thought we'd create a card using the new Ombre Stamp Pads. Now I did show you them in a previous tutorial how to use them, but I'll just quickly show you the three colours again. So they come in Calypso Coral, Bermuda Bay and Rich Raspberry. So today we are going to be using the Calypso Coral. Okay, now I have made two cards from them already. This one is using the Rich Raspberry and this one is using the Bermuda Bay. And I've used, I don't know if you can see, like round the border here, that is acetate. I've used the beautiful new acetate on both of those cards that Stampin' Up have brought out in a pack. And I just think it's really beautiful. They're 12-inch by 12-inch size pieces of acetate. They come in a 12 by 12 pack, and you get 2 sheets of each of the designs, and there's 3 designs. So that's one. Then you get this one. It's got all nice dots on it. And then this one, which we're using today. Okay, so we'll get started. So we've got a piece of Calypso Coral, and I'll give you the measurements as we go. So this is 11 inches long by 4 1/8 in width, and we're going to score that at 5.5 inches. So just score that. Now I'm not going to go through how to use the ombre pads today because I did that in a previous tutorial for you. For those that were asking me, they were a bit confused on how to use them. So we're going to do, we've done that. And then you will have a top layer, which I have early espresso. And that first layer needs to be 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Then my piece of acetate that's going to go on top is 5 inches by 3 5/8 of an inch. And just be careful how you cut it. Make sure you're cutting it the way you want it to sit on your card. And then I just need a piece of shimmery white, which is going to go on the top of there, which is 4 inches by 3 inches. And the inside of your card, I've just got a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, and it measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So we might do that first. Just pop that in there. So I'm using the Summer Sorbet. Better go, whoops, go out a bit for you. So we're using the Summer Sorbet set, and we're going to do the heart in the Summer Sorbet. So I'm using the Calypso Coral Ombre Stamp Pad, which I haven't used as yet. And remember, I told you it's dark at the top and it just radiates down to a lighter colour. And remember not to, I'll just move that out the way, not to stamp down like that. You want to just, so that you get that that dark at the top and just going down to the lighter. You can twist it if you want, if you don't feel like you're getting enough ink on there. Okay, so we're just going to, I'm just going to stamp this on the inside of my card, just lining it up on my grid paper, and I'm just going to quickly do a lovely stamp there. Just love it. Okay, so we'll just attach that inside our card straight away with our snail. So I want my card opening this way. So I'm going to open up that piece of paper, just line it up on a grid line. Just helps me to try and center it the best I can. Needs to come down a bit. Then I close my card and I just, then stops me from getting ink all over my card. And so we've got the lovely inside done. That was nice and quick. Now I think I'll just stamp on my piece. We're going to work with the shimmery white piece first, which is 4 inches by 3 inches, and I just want to stamp my heart on that. You can see I'm just patting. Till I'm happy with it. Noticed I'm not going up and down the stamp. Now I need to line my shimmery white up onto a line on my grid paper. Just going to move this up a bit, the heart, so I've got room for my sentiment. So that's just lovely. Just clean that off in my stamping scrub, just out of screen. So that's there. Now what we're going to do next is now this is another tip with your, depends which way you want it. That way. Yeah, I think I'll have it that way. Now, when you first cut your piece of acetate, there is a protective layer on the back which you need to remove. It's not adhesive, it's just protecting the acetate from getting scratched or marked. Okay, so you just need to remove that and it literally goes in my bin. Okay, so then I just line that up there. Now I've tried it and I find snail will not stick this onto there, so I use my tear and tape. Just grab my gluey scissors. I don't want to use my good scissors that I use for my ribbon. So you find if you use tear and tape, it's not going to come off the acetate, and it's not going to show on the acetate either because this is underneath the white cardstock, so you're not going to see it. I'll just put a piece down the middle. That. I just use these tweezers to remove you just hook it under. Normally comes straight off. Then, and if you've noticed, I've done the heart to one side. I did mean to do that because I've got a bigger sentiment to go on this card. Now, usually you just gotta, what I do is I just line my acetate up onto my grid paper, and it's not quite going to align each end. So and just look at your sides as well to see, because you know once we use that, so you most probably can see the tear and tape on the back, but doesn't matter because it's on the white cardstock, so it doesn't matter. So we've got that like that. And the next thing we're going to do, done that and that, I want to put some, tie some ribbon, well not ribbon, but I've done ribbon on the other two, and I thought I might, seeing I had the Calypso Coral in the thick baker's twine, I might attempt to tie a bow, which I don't normally do bows, or not very often. So what I might do is just put a little bit of tear and a bit of snail on the back, so just 1, 2, 3, 1, just put and lift it off a little bit, just so it's got something to stick to. Then I'm just going to tie a bow off to the side, which I'm not the best bow tire. I tend to fiddle a lot with my bows. Now, I just want to make sure it's sticking on that at the back. This is the part that takes the longest for me because I just fiddle. I'll push that back up there. Just make it a bit smaller. Sorry if I've gone out of focus there for you. It's a bit hard to watch the camera, and so I just want to tie. It is a quite quick card to make, you mightn't think so, but so cut that off there, cut that off there. So I've got a nice little bow there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach it to our first layer. Mine's Early Espresso, and that's 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. Now we're going to have to put tear and tape on it because we don't want to put any adhesive on the acetate, because as you most probably know, it will show through. So it's best just to use your strong tear and tape, and then it's not going to show through and it's not going to come off your card, and that way you can get a bit of tear and tape going over your ribbon or baker's twine, whatever you're using. I'm just trying not to use my good scissors on the adhesive. I have 2 paper snips. One are all glued up with glue and the other I leave for. So there we go. So we're going to pull that off with our tweezers. Usually if you just get under that piece of white piece, it will just pull straight off. And then you may think it's overkill, but I do like to put a couple of pieces across. But just remember, and I have done it, don't put it on the acetate, only on the white cardstock. And it's a great way to have a lovely frame of acetate around your card. I normally wouldn't put this, but it's just because I've got that really thick baker's twine there, I just want to put a piece there. Okay. So we take that piece off. Get my fingers off of the glue. Really not much to this card. It's a very easy card. But I just love this acetate. It would even make a lovely window card. But it's just got those lovely designs on it. You don't want to hide them. So we're just lining that up on my grid paper. Now I just want to make sure that baker's twine's as straight as I can. And this is going to show up lovely on the early espresso. So I'm just trying to get it as equal as I can. Then I'll just turn it over, and it's not going to come off because we've put tear and tape on, which is fabulous. So you can see the lovely effect it gives having that acetate round the side. Now another thing I do, my Winker Stella, I love it. So I'm just using the clear one, making sure enough comes through. Now on this heart, where all the lines are, what I do is I just go along each line. So I would just do all the ones coming across the heart first. And I don't normally do it this quickly, but just so that hopefully the tutorial won't go too long. then I get all the pieces. And because I've put it on shimmery white cardstock, and it's only a little piece of shimmery white, you get a really lovely glistening coming through the shimmery white, and then with the added Winker Stella, it's just so pretty, and you mightn't be able to see it so much on camera as I can see it, but it's a simple card to make. So I don't know if you can really see it, but it is lovely, and it's just another added effect. So now we're going to just add that to the front of my card with just tear and tape. Oh gee, I had like a bit of a mountain to go over there. That must have... I thought it had run out then. Normally does when I'm doing a tutorial. Okay. Now I like to open it out so it's nice and flat. So I've got it opening the right way. Wouldn't that be awful? Waste of a card, that would be. And I'm just eyeballing this to see if it's straight. Just need... So that's looking quite nice. Now we need a sentiment. So from the Picture Perfect, I have already stamped out ahead of time, "You are just the nicest." Okay, so that's from that stamp set, and what I've used the layering squares, and these are just awesome. You get so many different layering squares, like you get scalloped edge, you get thin edge, you get thick edge. If you were to buy all the punches, like you'd be buying about 18 punches. Like, this is well worth having. It does come, Stampin' Up do have the layering squares, the layering ovals, and the layering circles, and I just love them all. So I've gone ahead of time, and I've just cut out a square, but I'm gonna have it like that, like a diamond, but I've cut it out a square. Just, "You are just the nicest." Now I've cut that just on a straight edge square, and then I chose one of the thick-sided scalloped edges, and it is just going to fit perfectly, and it just makes layering so much easier. So I've just got some dimensionals on the back of there, so I'm just going to pull them off. And you can just put a couple of dimensionals on if you want. I just tend to like to be sure it's not going to come apart. So I'm in your view. So I'm just lining that up. Now you're only going to see a little bit of that scallop, but it's just So effective. Down, so it just gives you that layered effect, and using the dimensionals makes it pop up a little bit. And then I'm just going to pop it on my card. Can go right down to the bottom because it is a lot bigger of a sentiment. That's why I stamped the heart to the left a little bit. And I think I will just grab some dimensionals because I think that's going to be the easiest way, because I've got to adhere it over this baker's twine and I don't trust the snail to do that. And you do get an awful lot of, just check I've pulled all those off, you do get an awful lot of dimensionals in one packet. Let's get that hair off. And so that isn't covering the heart. Let's get all my mess out the way. So that's going to be like that. And knowing me, you know me, I can't leave that like that. It's got to have, just thinking what dimensionals to put on, what bling I could put on there, which I might just grab from the enamel dots, the metallics. And hopefully the hearts won't go flying. I found if I just get my tweezers underneath, because the acetate's gold in the background, the gold heart just sets it off, because we don't have much happening in this space, and I just think it's nice to have a little embellishment there. Now that's gone down crooked, which isn't very nice of it to do that to me. I might be able to. Let's put it. There we go. Let's grab one couple to go. These are very adhesive. They have a very strong adhesive under them. So you wouldn't need any glue under these. And I'm just going to put one more. Nearly finished. And I know I'm going a different way to the other side, that's just me. It's going to go there like that. Pop them aside. I might not got the heart exactly, but I'm not going to hold you up any longer. But that's our card for today. So I think that's turned out quite nice. So I hope you will try the Ombre Stampin' Up stamp pads. I really love them. I just think they're wonderful. So you've got that one in Calypso Coral, this one in Bermuda Bay, and this one, oh, bit of tear and tape there, and this one in Rich Raspberry. So you can see how effective they are, especially with the acetate. They just look lovely. Okay, so thank you for spending some of your day with me today, and until next time, happy crafting.